Welcome back. We're so glad that you're able to join us in this session where we are going to be looking at a personality test, taking a personality test which hopefully will reveal some of your natural strengths and your natural weaknesses. Now, this is just a 5-minute personality test, and it might give you some insight into some of those weaknesses and strengths, but we know that to generalize people into 4 categories is a tall order, and it's not going to be fully correct. So there are many other personality inventories that you can take that will go a lot deeper in depth, and then there's also just the idea that it can't capture all of who you are. But it's actually been a fun thing that we've been doing with businesses over the years, and it's fun for them to kind of see where they fit into this, and I hope it will be good for you as well. And so in front of you, you should have something that is called the 5-minute personality test. And I want you to take you through it. And so I hope you have that. I hope you also have a pen or a pencil, something to mark down your answers, because the goal will be is that you take it together as in this session. And then when we get to the end, I'm going to encourage you to pause and to total up each of the 4 columns. And then come back, turn the video back on, and we'll go through and interpret it. And I want to tell you that as you look at that sheet, you will see that there at the top are 4 letters. There's an L, there's an O, there's a G, and there is a B. And all 4 of those letters refer to a specific animal. And they might be animals that you're familiar with, they might not be familiar with them. But what we are looking at is what type of personality do you have in comparison to these animals. The L, of course, is a lion. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details talking about the personality of a lion, and we'll cover some of those things after we total the results. But I'm guessing that you know what a lion is and what type of personality or what a lion would be known for. The second one, and you should have these pictures in your workbook as well, would be an otter. And an otter is a sea creature. It spends its time in the water. It is also able to be on land, and it's a very fun-loving and playful creature. A golden retriever is the G. So G stands for golden retriever, and that's a type of dog, and it has a specific personality. If you know, different types of dogs have different personalities. A golden retriever is known for its personality, and we will talk about that when it's done. I don't want to lead you because it might guide the way you make some of your choices. The last one is a B, and a B is for beaver. And a beaver is something that is an animal that usually makes its dens, its forts out of trees, and so it gnaws on the wood and it piles them up in the river in order to make its forts there. And so these are the 4 animals that we are going to be looking at. So if you have your 5-minute personality test in front of you, what you will see is that there are 10 horizontal lines, and each of those lines has 4 different words. What you need to do is to look at those 4 words and pick the one that best describes you. Now, I know you might look at these words and say none of them describe me, but you still have to pick the one that is the most like you than the other one. So you find the one that describes you the best, and you put a number 4 by that. Then go to the one that describes you the least, the one that is least like you, and you put a number 1 by that. And then you need to decide which of the other 2 is more like you or less like you. The one that's more like you would put a number 3 by. The one that's less like you would put a number 2 by. And so the idea is that in each of these lines, you have a word. Each word is assigned with a value, either 4, 3, 2, or 1, with 4 being the most like you and 1 being the least like you. And so we will go through these together, and as we're doing that, I would like you to fill it in as best you can, and then we will go through and add it up. So the first one are these 4 words. The first is likes authority. The second is enthusiastic. The third is sensitive feelings. And the fourth is likes instructions. So of those 4 sets of words, which one is the most like you? Once you pick it, put a number 4 in front of that word. Then look at the one that is least like you, and put a number 1 in front of that word. Then look at the last 2 that are remaining, and of those 2, the one that is more like you, put a number 3. The one that is less like you, put a number 2. And again, I know you might not like any of the words, or maybe you like all of them, but you have to sort it out. You have to figure out which is the one that you will give the highest and the lowest scores. All right, so hopefully you have been able to do that. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is that takes charge. You are a person who likes to take charge of situations. The second word there is that you like to take risks. You aren't afraid of going out and trying new things. The third is loyal, that you value loyalty and you believe yourself to be a loyal person. And the fourth is that you like accuracy, that you like things to be done right and in an accurate way. So just like number 1, find the one that is the most like you in terms of how you operate and put a number 4 by it. Then find the one that is least like you, put a number 1 by it. And of the 2 remaining, decide which one is more like you, put a 3 by it, and less like you, put a 2 by it. And remember that you are selecting these numbers not based on how you want to be or how you wish you were, but this is based on the reality that you believe that you see yourself with. The third one is determined, meaning you are able to get things done. You are usually determined. Once you start something, you finish it. The second word is visionary, which means that you are able to see a big picture and have some big dreams and big ideas. The third is calm, even keel. That means your boat doesn't get rocked very easily. You are a calm force. You are able to keep the peace. And the fourth is consistent. You like things done a certain way, and you like things to be consistently done in that way. Place a 4 by the one that is most like you, a 1 by the one that is least, a 3 for the one that is more like you of the 2 remaining, and a 2 on the last one. Number 4. 4, the first word is enterprising. Means you kind of are an entrepreneurial mindset. You are able to look at the world and you see potential everywhere you work, and you have lots of ideas of how to be able to satisfy some of the needs that you see in the world. The next one of number 4 is very verbal. You like to talk a lot. You process through talking, and that's very important to you. The next one is enjoys routine. You enjoy routines. You are at most peace when you are in a familiar place doing familiar things, and you love the familiarity of that routine. And the last one is predictable. You like things to be a certain way. You're not big on surprises, and you are able, your family is able to often tell you that this is probably what you will be your answer in a particular given situation. Because it's familiar and you appreciate that. Again, 4 at the highest, 1 at the lowest, and then decide which of the last 2 words is more like you, number 3, and then number 2. Number 5, the first word is competitive. Would you describe yourself as competitive, which means that winning is important to you and you don't like to lose? The second word is a promoter. You're able to promote things very naturally. You're kind of a marketing person, a salesperson. You like to talk to people about things that are going on, and you're probably making connections because you're saying, hey, I heard somebody that did this, and maybe you want to get to know them. The third word is dislikes change, and this would be somebody who just is rather have things the way they are and wants things, again, to be within that comfort zone that is comfortable for us. And the last word in number 5 is practical. We don't want things to be all flowery. We want to be about our senses. Can I see it? Can I smell it? Can I taste it? Can I hear it? Can I touch it? Let's get practical. Quit talking about these big dreams. All right, so that is number 5. Again, assign your numbers 1 through 4. Number 6, the first word there is a problem solver. When you look at a situation, you're able to come up with solutions. The second one is enjoys popularity. In fact, popularity might be important. It's good to be around people, and when you're around people, you don't mind being the center of attention. You don't mind getting the chance to tell stories or to tell jokes and have people recognize you. The third one is gives in to others, and that is somebody who, if somebody is taking charge, it's okay. You go ahead and take charge, and I'm happy to support in that role, in that situation. And the fourth one is factual. Give me the facts. It's really important to me. Before I believe what you tell me, I need to know, is that proven? Is what you're saying real? Is it something that we can understand through science or through other facts? Don't just tell me the big stories. Let's get down to the facts. Again, number 4, the most like you. Number 1, the least like you. Number 3, more of the last two left, more like you, and then number 2 for the last word. Number 7 is productive. Are you a productive person? Do you like to be productive? And is a lot of your day consumed with the things that you are supposed to be producing? The second word in number 7 is fun-loving. Is that something that's very important to you, that you have fun with people and that you are able to make them laugh? And for you yourself, that's an important part of your day. The third one is avoids confrontations, and for that one, we don't like conflict, and we don't want to deal with conflict, and we like to keep the peace. And the last one is conscientious. We have a strong conscience, is the word that's in there, and we want to live according to that conscience, and so we want to make sure that we have integrity, that our conscience is being lived out in the way that we do our work. And so when we say we're going to do something, we make sure that we get it done. Number 8, the first word there is bold. You are willing to make bold moves, and you are willing to do the bold things when others might not be willing to do that. The second word in number 8 is likes variety. In fact, variety is the spice of life, and they thrive on change, and change is good. The third one in that one is sympathetic. You're able to identify with other people and what they're feeling. You're able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and have that empathy that is there. And the last one is, in number 8, is a perfectionist. And when things get done, you want them to be done right. And if it's not done right, then it's really not done, is it? And so that would be the last one in number 8. Which of those words is the most like you? Which one is the least like you? And then assign number 2 and 3 for those other 2 words. Number 9 is a decision maker, and that's somebody who is willing to make some decisions and doesn't need to look to others or to get a vote and make everything democratic even within the family. Make a decision, go with it, done. The second word in number 9 is spontaneous, and that's somebody who, it doesn't matter if we have a plan, we need to be spontaneous. And so today we might go this direction, tomorrow we go in a different direction, and that's okay because we're spontaneous. The third word in that number 9 is nurturing, and a nurturer is somebody who is pouring and investing themselves into the lives of others, that they seek the growth and the happiness and the contentment of those that are around them. And the last one in number 9 is detail-oriented. It's important that we pay attention to the details. In fact, we might say that the devil is in the details because we have to work out these details as we are doing our work so that we can have it done well and done right. Pick the number 4 for the word that is most like you, number 1 for the word that is least like you, and then assign number 3 and 2 based on which one is more like you. The last word, the last line there is number 10, and the first word there is persistent. In fact, some might say that it's like a dog with a bone. Once the dog gets hold of that bone, you don't let go of it very easy. So maybe you are a person that is persistent, and even if you don't succeed, you're willing to try and try again. The next word there is inspirational, and it's something that people can look up to you, and they have said that when you talk, you inspire them with the way you talk, and that's something that motivates them, and so you inspire those around you. The third one there, the third word is a peacemaker, and it's somebody who loves to keep the peace and to make sure that people are happy and content. And the last word on that last line is analytical, and that is somebody who is interested and likes to analyze situations and to see where the truth is and where the truth is not, and be able to make their mind up, not based on somebody else saying something, but based on the facts that they see in front of them. And so in that last line, pick the number 4, which of those four words is most like you. Pick your number 1, which of those 4 words is least like you. And then assign number 3 and 2 to the other words based on which one you feel like is most like you. Number 3 for the one that is more like you, and number 2 for the one that is less like you. At this point, I would ask you to pause the tape, pause the recording, and take your calculator out or take your phone out or do some math in your brain, and you just want to add up all of the ones that are under the L, add up all the numbers that are there, and put your total at the bottom. And then do the same for the O, and then do the same for the B, and then do the same for the G. The G is the third one, and then the B is the last one. And you want to put your totals at the bottom. And when you come back, then we will talk about what those totals will mean, and then we can have some discussion about what looks like your personality fits and what doesn't fit within those descriptions. All right, welcome back. I hope that you were able to do that math and to figure out what is your highest and what is your second highest. Those are the two that we really want to concentrate on. And so the L in the first column is a lion. And I wonder how many of you came out as having that as the strongest of the categories, the lion. And if you see in your notes, you will see that lions are leaders. They are usually the bosses at work. Usually lions are the entrepreneurs. They are willing to take risks. They are decisive. They are goal-oriented. They are achievement-driven. They like to take initiative, and they are self-starters. And so often business people, entrepreneurs, the ones who get out and start new things are lions. There are sometimes you'll recognize a lion because everywhere they go, they see business opportunity, and out of their mouth is constantly coming ideas for different businesses. But we'll also see that every one of these personalities that we're looking at, of the 4, have natural strengths, but they also have natural weaknesses. And so if you came out as the strongest, being a lion, you have to recognize that while you have great strengths, you also might be impatient. You might be blunt. You might speak very directly. You might be a poor listener because it's so easy for you. You make decisions quickly. It's time to go. You don't take the time to listen to those around you. And so people may feel run over by a lion. They may feel like they are very demanding. And so those are things that we have to look at. Remember that every strength that God has given us can also have a shadow, and we have to be aware of what those shadows are as we continue to fulfill the calling that we have been given. And so for people who are lions, running a business is something that they are fitted to do, and they might be fitted to do businesses that might be a little bit more risky and might be something that has not been proven by others around you at that time. And so you'll see more description in those pages about other things about lions that might be helpful for you to read as you go through this. The next category was an O, an otter. And as I described earlier, an otter is an animal that is fun-loving and it's very playful. And so otters, if otter was the highest number or if it was the second highest number for you, it means that you're probably an enthusiastic person. You are optimistic. You are a good communicator. You may be motivational and inspirational for people. People have probably described you as outgoing and fun-loving. So those are all the strengths that you have, and hopefully you see that in yourself. The weaknesses for the otter is that they might be somewhat unrealistic as to what can actually be done because they're not exactly detail-oriented. Some people might say that they have their head in the clouds, and they don't necessarily have their feet on the ground. They may be disorganized or impulsive. They listen to feelings above logic. And so again, lots of great things about otters, but we also have to recognize what the shadow is, and that's why we are the body of Christ coming together, working together. The next one after the otter is a golden retriever. And a golden retriever is a type of dog that is known for its loyalty. A golden retriever is a very patient dog. It is a team player. If you are the highest score came in as a golden retriever or the second highest one, you're probably an empathetic person. You can see the pain or the hurt of other people around you, and you can put yourself in their shoes. You have sensitive feelings towards others. You are dependable. You are reliable. You are supportive. You are agreeable. Everybody wants you on your team. People want you to be on their team. The weaknesses of golden retrievers is that they are sometimes indecisive. They are not able to make the decisions because we're considering too many other people and their feelings and thoughts, and it becomes difficult to make a decision because somebody might get hurt. Another way of saying that is if we are a golden retriever, we might be over accommodating. We might try to please too many people at the expense of being able to move forward in a project. Golden retrievers tend to be to avoid confrontation. They also can fear change. And so those are some things that we need to think of. And so going back for golden retrievers, at least, you want to be in a type of business that allows you to work in a team with others. And you may need to have somebody who is able to walk alongside you to make some of those difficult decisions that you aren't willing to make. Let me go back to the otters. I forgot to mention that for an otter, you want to be in sales, you want to be in marketing, you want to be the one out there networking. Don't put an otter at a desk because they will die there. They need to be out there with people. All right. So lions are the ones who are taking the risk and setting up the businesses. Otters are the ones making the connections and putting people together. Golden retrievers are the ones who are keeping the peace in the business, and they are able to do businesses, especially service businesses, that are great as it relates to one-on-one people skills and keeping the peace and helping to promote, understand empathy and so on. The last one yet then is the beavers, and beavers are, of course, those hard-working animals that are always getting things done. And so the natural strengths of beavers is that they are accurate. Being accurate and detail-oriented is very important. They are industrious. They are orderly. They have high standards. They are intuitive, and they are very well controlled within themselves. And so you can probably think of people that are beavers, and when they say they're going to get something done, they get it done, and it will be done right. A weakness of beavers is sometimes they are too hard on themselves. They hold themselves at such a high standard that they even let themselves down. And of course, that can relate then to other people as well. They are not only hard on themselves, they might be hard on other people because perfectionism can sometimes take over. And then it becomes a challenge for people to rise to the level of satisfaction. Sometimes beavers are overly cautious. They don't dare take a step because if they can't do it right, then it's not worth doing. And so they can be overly sensitive in that area as well. They might be picky people. And so that is the four personality types that we can take a look at. And maybe you see very clearly where this fits for your number one and where your number two fits as well. Maybe you are a lion and a beaver. Maybe you are a golden retriever and an otter. So you can see for yourself where you fit. And if none of it fits, it's okay. Throw it away. It doesn't really matter. But if it does fit, it's good for you to live into the fact that God has made you with some great gifts. And be aware of the fact that with those gifts, there's often a shadow, and you need to be aware of what that shadow can be as you seek to work in a place to do something that helps people to flourish, that there may be things that you do that are off-putting to others. For me, I have found it very beneficial to recognize who it is in my team and what their personality strength is, and I need to be sensitive to that because I don't want my own style, my own preference to overshadow those who have different preferences than me. And of course, we're reminded that we are all part of the body of Christ. And there's no part of our body that should look down on another part, or we shouldn't say we all want to be an eye or we all want to be a hand, because we work together in the way that God has made us. So understand and appreciate how God has made you, and do this with your family. Do this with your spouse. Do this in your workplace. It's a great, fun conversation, and it opens our eyes to see that it's okay that we're different, because it's in that difference, in those differences, that we come together to be the body of Christ, to be the church in action. I want to go into a little bit more detail of the types of businesses that you might find yourself in, given these 4 different animals that we are looking at in the personality test. Of course, we have described some of the characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses of the lions and the otters, the golden retrievers, and the beavers. But what does it mean for you if you are a lion? What type of things should you be looking at? And the thing with lions is that they tend to be risk takers. So you might be willing to look at new potential products that are coming on the market, new services that are more unknown, and might be willing to go in that direction to start a business that will allow people to introduce themselves to new products on the market. Otters are those who, as I said before, can get into marketing. And of course, otters love being around people. And so sales is something that's very easy. And so if you scored high in the otter area, you can also be looking at new products and carrying them out, because you will be able to talk with people about them and share what they can do, what they might not be able to do. You're also somebody who likes to put people together, and so there are different businesses where you want to be connecting people and making sure that they are working well together, and so consulting type businesses might be good for you as well. And of course, any type of business that is involving people, whether it's entertainment, very different forms of entertaining business, whether it's a restaurant type business where, again, you're interacting with a lot of people, those are some options that you can look at as an otter. The next one, a golden retriever. What are some of the options for golden retrievers? Well, again, golden retrievers are nurturers, and they love to make sure that people are at peace and that they are thriving and flourishing. And so, of course, daycare centers would be an option for golden retrievers. We could also look at caring for people in different ways, whether you become a counselor or a social worker, and you would work in your own way as your own business to be able to provide those services for people. Medical businesses are also good for golden retrievers, so continue to think of ways that you fulfill some of those aspects of who you are as a golden retriever, as you are looking to help people to flourish. And that means giving the care to animals, giving care to people, giving care to those who might be hurting, and to use your gifts in that way to bring peace to this world. Of course, we need peacemakers as well, and so those are other areas that you can work in helping to bring peace in areas where there are conflicts. Last is the beaver, and the beaver, of course, as we said, is analytical and is precise. And so oftentimes beavers will find themselves in accounting type positions, or beavers might be engineers, they might be architects, they might like those details and bring that perfectionism that we need to people who are designing things that we are going to use to make sure that they are safe in every area. You might be the standards quality person who is making sure that the business is producing quality things, or maybe you are involved in a business where you are helping people to raise their own standards and make sure that they are complying in all of those ways, involved in quality assurance. And so these are just a few of examples that you can see for these 4 different categories. There is plenty more, and I would hope that you would have conversations together to talk about your ideas and how they fit into this. Remember that this is not a 5-minute personality test. It's not going to set your future. It's not where you are going to make decisions about what you can and cannot do, but it's something that gives you an insight, or at least a good conversation to talk about where some of your preferences might be, which has been the point of this course that we've been going through together, to understand who we are through those reflections that we need to take in order for us to be going in the direction that will give us joy and meet our gifts and our passions in those places. So thank you for this. I hope that you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time. God bless you.